Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here, and I wanted to jump in here today because super excited about SBC Fest coming up in just a little bit over a month, and I am all kinds in the middle of getting ready for that weekend, and it's just going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun, and I've heard from so many of you who are so excited about this as well, so you just pumped me up. So thank you for your comments. And so for those of you who don't know what SBC Fest is, it is an online event that is being sponsored by scrapbook.com, and on their YouTube channel we have a weekend in September 16th and 17th where we are going, there's a bunch of us, there's a big mix of creatives who are coming together, and we're all teaching different classes. We've got scrapbooking, paper crafting, stamping, card making. We have all kinds of fun things that whole weekend, and we're going to be in the chat with you guys as well. It's just going to be a blast. I'm so honored to be a part of it. So, but with that in mind, I want to make sure that if you have any interest at all, I'm going to drop the main page link in the description box here in this video, and make sure you check out all the details. Make sure you check out who's actually going to be teaching. Make sure you check out their supply list. And a couple of us even have an essentials list. That's a bundled price. It's a steal. Let me talk about that here in this video. But the other thing I want to make sure we chat about today is we talk about extra supplies that I kind of assume you might already have, but I want to make sure you know what I'm going to be using. So if you want to craft along with me and the thing that I'm going to make, big secret, and the thing that I'm going to make, then you're ready. So that's what today's video is about. And again, any more information that you need, ask me a question or check out the link. Okay, there's a couple things I want to chat about. The first thing I want to talk about is the supply list. And I have gathered here, for the most part, the things that are part of the supply list. So dies and stamps, word fetty stamps, the sweet expressions, the roses, smooth cardstock, the nested tag dies, and an assortment of page protectors that fit inside the 6x8 album. Now, in the essentials kit that is available on scrapbook.com, there are 4 different items that are part of this kit. First is the butterflies 2 that you can see there, and then of course these sprigs that I just love and use again and again and again. I find so many uses for these dies all the time, and there's actually one not there. I gotta go find where I'm missing a leaves one, I think. Then one of my favorite cardstock packs, and it's the roses. And then you heard me mention the nested dies. This is the nested die set. It is a multi-size tag die set that you're going to use again and again and again. So this is a great kit. This is an essentials kit. And here's the thing. It retails for $92. Right now it's available for $44.99. And this will have you, I'm reaching for these particular items again and again in my class. So hint, hint, you just might want to get your hands on that. So I wanted to make sure you knew what this was. Link will be in the description. Okay, now there are some other items, like I mentioned in the intro, that should just be kind of part if you're a scrapbooker, if you're a card maker, if you're a paper crafter. These are kind of items that you would more than likely already have in your stash. I just thought it might be important to go over them anyway, just as a, I don't know, just to make sure. You know when you pack, you always check twice that you have all the things that you think you should need. So let me go through these. I'm going to be using a corner rounder. I, in particular, on my desk have this Dress My Craft. It's got 3 different sizes, and so that's going to be utilized. I'm using, of course, stamps, so I will also have stamp block that is going to be needful for holding the stamps as well. And then speaking of stamps, I also am using the Distress Oxide tea dye, pretty much exclusively just using this color throughout. Then there's a need on occasion for the mint tape, especially with die cutting. This is something that I utilize to keep dies where I need them to be. Of course, smart glue. And speaking of adhesive, let's just talk about adhesives for a second. I love this tape runner by scrapbook.com. So it's the one I'm exclusively using. And then I reach for the 1/8 inch strips. This is a foam adhesive. And so these are just great strips that I actually use these quite a bit. And then just on top of that, just a pair of scissors that is good for cutting your adhesive. That's something you might want to keep in mind as well. I'm using a 2-inch paper bunch pretty often in this class as well. And then there's a couple needs for a cutting mat. So I just have this little tiny one here because I could just move it on and off my workbench. You can see here I have a big roll of twine. Now I mentioned in the class for this particular purpose that anything will do, any kind of fiber that you like, whether it's a baker's twine or it's a seam binding or a ribbon or something smaller, something sheer, it doesn't really matter. I'm not too specific as to what type of fiber, what type of twine I'm using at all. Okay, and then just some real basic and general supplies. The multi-hole punch is something I'm using all the time anyway on my desk, and there's reason for it, especially with the tags. I'm using the Tim Holtz tiny attacher. A bone folder is going to be very useful in this class as well. Along with the cutting mat, a good utility knife is always a good thing to have. A 6-inch ruler, metal ruler. I prefer metal ruler. This you may or may not know, and I'll tell you right now. I'm a big fan of a 6-inch ruler, not just for measuring and then cutting with a utility knife because of the metal edge, but it's a great distress tool, which I talk about in the class. I use this Tonic Studios, it's a die poker, because I don't really actually know the name of it. So we're going to call it a die poker. And actually, I saw Tim Holtz use this on one of his Saturday lives, and I didn't realize how much I needed this in my stash. And it's definitely a go-to supply. I use this all the time. And then a pair of scissors. And again, I mentioned before with the adhesive, I just like a pair of scissors I know is not going to stick. I've been using these even on the foam adhesive strips, and they've been working like a charm. So as much as I possibly could have prepared for this, I think I have covered all my bases here for the products that are going to be useful in the making of this class. And so I want to make sure you had a heads up. And if you have any questions about SBC Fest, any of my supplies, whatever, or you're just excited and you want to let me know, please drop a comment in the comment box, and I will see you in the next video.